Could some major AEW stars be leaving soon? Plus, John Morrison breaks his silence following his WWE release, and we have an update on an injured SmackDown star. It's all in the wrestling news right now. So we've seen the Young Bucks re-sign with AEW. Ross Tweddle.
Tom Campbell.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
And there's a few other people who may be considering their options at this point. Wade Keller on PW Torch says, there are people I've talked to in AEW who are looking at their contracts and wondering what their deal is going to be the next time when their first deal comes up and how much leverage they're going to have with WWE or New Japan or GCW or on the indie scene as an option to book yourself. It's going to be interesting to watch. I have heard the intent and the hope is that Cody and Kenny come to deals. There's not signs that any of them want to leave or are disgruntled, but there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to come to an extension, but I don't know the situation. So Young Bucks re-signed, Kenny and Cody due to re-sign?
You would assume they would re-sign.
You would assume so, wouldn't you?
You would assume the major stumbling block would be this change that's happened behind the scenes according to the dirty sheets in AEW. Mm-hmm. The dirty sheets aren't AEW, but the reports are from things that happen in AEW. That's how the dirty sheets work, Tom. They've been saying that TK, our good friend here at Cultaholic Wrestling, Tony Khan, has taken the reins, hasn't he, by himself and just swept aside the EVPs and go, no, I'm running this ship now. No more of your bollocks, lads. Get out of here now.
That's exact
Get off
quote.
the metro.
An exact quote from Tony Khan when he told the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega and Cody to, quote, get off the metro now.
So as a dirty hack here on YouTube, I'm assuming that since the Young Bucks have signed, that change hasn't been too disastrous for the EVPs who have been shunted to one side. Therefore, I fully expect, with my journalistic integrity at its ultimate pomp, that Kenny Omega and Cody will re-sign with AEW until 2024.
I'm as confident as them signing as I am of Jack playing his face up at the work Christmas party.
Jack is, interestingly, not here today. He could have been dealt with by Adam Pacini.
We wish Jack King the best of luck in his future endeavours. Now, obviously they mentioned Cody and Kenny, but then there's also talk of other people in AEW, and there's quite a few people that signed in the early stages of All Elite Wrestling, and obviously since then, the landscape, not just behind the scenes, but in front of the camera, has very much changed. Do you think there's going to be a few people who signed originally who may... Are we on the verge, really, of seeing our first people jumping from AEW to WWE?
You would assume so, Tom. You would assume so, just because the roster has... The roster?
The roster.
Oh, I went for Toby Carvey last night. It was fantastic. The roster is bloated, to say the least, here as we're sat here in whatever month it is, November.
After a Toby Carvey. Bloated.
We're nice and trim before this whole release we're doing. No, you would assume, and I'm just saying as well, you don't know what sort of deals they're on. Is it per appearance deals? Is it just short-term deals? And then they're sort of just left to go and fly off away from the eagle's nest that is AEW all by themselves. We don't know, do we? We don't know what sort of contracts they're on. But you would assume that coming up soon, certain names who were on the show at the start of the company, who aren't maybe on the show now, might be up for release. I don't know what to say about this, Tom. No. I'm just a hack sat here on YouTube.
Certainly
I've got no idea what's going on.
We'll hack away at the roaster at cultaholic.com when we find out
That's
more.
a lovely lamb and gammon, I tell you.
Did you?
Marmalade glazing on now at Toby Carvery.
Was it lamb and gammon together?
No.
Lamon.
King size, please.
Gamb.
Barkeep. 2 sausages, big Yorkshire pudding, not lots of lamb, lots of not mayonnaise. I want to go home, me. I've had enough already.
I want to go to Toby Carvery. We are not sponsored by Toby Carvery.
I wish we were.
Toby Carvery, what great meat they do. John Morrison, he's a good bit of meat, isn't he? He was let go from WWE earlier this month, and it's all been quiet on the Jomo front until the weekend. Isn't that right, Ross?
This is heartbreaking because John Laurinaitis, right, that bastard, told Johnny Drip Drip that, and I quote, his services were no longer required, and they did not, crucially, wish him good luck in his future endeavours.
I wonder if they just don't say that anymore because it's too clear. But you know what? I think part of the joy of working for WWE is in the event that you get let go, you get wish good luck in your future endeavours. It's kind of like it's like when you get a photo after you've come off the big one at Blackpool. It's the similar effect. Similar effect, maybe.
Scared of flying down the thing into the future. I don't know what's coming next, but when they say good luck, it means everything's going to work out okay, doesn't it, Tom?
He did, and he went on to say he was very grateful for having reconnected with old friends during his last WWE run, which is about a year long.
Yes.
He's running WWE.
A bit longer than that, was it? It was start of 2020 when he rocked it back up, I think.
Was it?
Or was it 2019? Or was it 2017? Time is
merely
mystery.
a construct of human perception. He said it's not the stuff in wrestling that people go to the pro wrestling for, it's the stories that are told. And he says the great thing about being a storyteller is when one chapter ends, another begins. He is not done with the world of professional wrestling.
Look, I mean, it's just heartbreaking for the pair of them, and I say the pair of them because obviously his wife was released a couple of weeks before him, just before Christmas. That's lovely, isn't it, World Wrestling Entertainment? You set of bastards.
You get paid over Christmas, so there is that. You get like that little 3-month window of paychecks.
What about the January sales?
Put a month by for January sales, frolic, and everything else is fine. Over to sort of Ring of Honor related news. Jonathan Gresham headlining Final Battle. He's putting on Terminus, which is going to be a show out of Atlanta, Georgia, which might be a little bit more than a show. And another name has been announced for that show.
We've hit Terminus. Ba, 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 ba. That's how that song went about 10 years ago.
Nice.
Who the hell is there? Moose. He's there.
Moose is amongst it. Moose has been announced for the debut show along with Bandido, Daniel Garcia, Taekwondo black belt wrestler Janai Kai. I'm really up for seeing what Janai Kai can do. She seems awesome. This is going to be their first show emanating from Atlanta, Georgia. If only there was a way we could find out more about Terminus.
How could we do that, Tom?
Why not check out a brand new episode of Desert Island Graps this Wednesday, where my guest is Jonathan Gresham.
What is Desert Island Graps?
It is where we speak to wrestlers and wrestling-like type folk and ask them what 3 wrestling matches they would watch while stranded on a desert island.
That sounds great.
Gresham had a great time doing it. We've talked about loads of stuff. But I think Moose is great because I think the one thing we'll bring up as a little spoiler for that is that I asked about whether Terminus is just going to be all about sort of that pure style of wrestling that Jonathan Gresham really bites into. And he says we want it to kind of be a little bit more than that. And then the announcement of Moose this morning made me go, I now know what you mean, Jonathan Gresham. You couldn't tell me that name the other day, but now we know what it is. It's Moose. And finally, an update on a SmackDown star who's been on the bench. What do we know?
Not a substitute, she's been injured. Bayley took to her Twitter and she shared a photo of her. It's a lovely picture. Whoever took that picture's got a wonderful mind for cinematography and photography and other photographies, because she's walking down this back alley. There's a light in the distance, no caption whatsoever. What could this mean, Tom?
Oh, well, to me, it looks like, because it's Bayley on crutches, walking down there, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It could be something as simple as there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Or it could be a hint to WrestleMania 36's theme, Blinded by the Light by the Weekend.
Ooh, so back for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Or maybe, who is it that sang the other song called Blinded by the Light? Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a goose in the
Neil
middle.
Diamond, let's
Was
just
it?
say.
I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out. This is the best news video.
Apparently Bayley will be back around April 2022, which coincidentally is around about WrestleMania season. So could we see Bayley at WrestleMania 38? Is that the next one? Good God Almighty, 38's the next one.
I'm as old as WrestleMania, and so every year.
No, you're not, Tom.
Oh no, I am. I'm 38 next year.
No, you're not, Tom.
I wish.
You're 24.
Oh, if only. If only. More news as we go throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Manfred Mann's Earth Band. They sang.
Those are words.
They sang Blinded by the Light.
Ah, fair enough.
Love you, bye.
Never heard of them.